Welcome back to the Brave Meets Bold podcast. It's your girl, Savannah.
And your girl, Delara.
And we're happy to be here, as we always are.
Episode 4, here we are.
Yes.
Insane. It's going by so fast.
It is.
So fast. I need to stop saying that in every episode, but
But it's just true. It's a fact. It's going
We're
by
almost
super
halfway
quick.
done.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
And then we'll be on to season 2.
Season 2?
I was thinking about that last night. I was like, how long do people usually
Take
go?
a hiatus.
Well, that and how long do people usually have a podcast? Like, how many episodes?
I mean, I think as long as y'all want to listen to us, we love it. Like, we're so excited. It's not even like, I mean, for me personally, I don't feel like I'm like going to work.
Yeah, I know. This is kind of like a hobby almost.
Really, it really is. And like we've talked about having like some Brave Meets Bold like merch.
Yeah.
So I think we were gonna like talk about me and Savannah, showing you guys wearing it and see if you guys would want it.
Would like it, yeah.
Something just cozy.
Yeah, something cozy for like the house or just to chill, run errands in.
Yeah.
That we love, like sweatsuits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So is that what it's called? Sweatsuits?
Yeah, sweatsuits. So
sweatsuits.
stay on the lookout for that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So today's episode is some more fun. Some is a lot more fun, I think.
Yeah. It's just a lighter topic than what we've been talking about our past episodes. So we're ready to just jump into this and get it going.
Yeah, so today's episode, if you haven't seen the title, it's careers and how we got into it.
Yes, business, careers, kind of everything in between.
Oh yeah.
And we're just gonna jump right into it, right?
Yeah, let's do it. We have notes again. We're prepared.
We're prepared, ladies.
I started last episode, so you give us this episode. Let Savannah start us off.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you guys a fact, and then we're going to get into my point.
Wait, before you start, if you're watching on YouTube, can we just take a moment for Savannah's, fit look?
Stop,
it is red.
girlfriend.
I just saw her nails and her ring and her earrings and her lips. I love it.
Well, today is Valentine's Day. We're recording one episode a little bit earlier due to Homegirl being a business mogul.
Sorry.
She's got to do things, so we had to record a little bit earlier. So it is Valentine's Day, but when you guys see this, it won't be Valentine's Day.
She looks so cute if you're watching this.
Thank you, Boo. You're so cute always.
Thanks. Okay, sorry, back to it.
You're so cute. Thank you. Okay, so just a fact. So there are about 2,080. I always feel like I say numbers weird, but then I realize I don't. But anyways, working hours in a year for an employee who works a traditional 40-hour work week.
Say that number again?
2,080
hours.
A
year?
A year. If you're working about 40 hours a week. So that's a lot of time that you are spending doing your career, you're involved in with your business or whatever the case may be. So that leads me to my point, which is make sure that you are in a career that you genuinely love to be in. And we'll get a little deeper in that because I know it's not the easiest thing. Sometimes we got to do what puts food on the table and pays the bills. I understand that. But you can always have that as a security job while you're working towards something that you're actually passionate about. And like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more. But my first point is make sure you enjoy the job that you do because you are spending 2,080 hours a year doing it.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
2,000 hours?
Yeah, it seems like it's really kind of not a lot, but it really is
a lot to me.
Yeah, it
sounds like a lot of hours.
No,
of
yeah,
my life.
It does, and that's why I feel like it's important to actually be enjoying it because the majority of the week, as an adult, you are working. So,
and isn't that crazy? That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
It makes you appreciate back in the day when you went to school for 6 hours and then came home and did whatever you wanted.
Right. Did your homework, didn't do your homework, whatever. Watch Disney Channel.
Yeah. And I feel like Savannah and I, we both have had 9-to-5 jobs. But I just even like when I had a 9-to-5 job, when she had a 9-to-5 job, I just don't think it's in our like blood and soul to be 9-to-5 girlies. Nothing is wrong with that, but like you really have to have. You need to like it. Like
I agree.
You go, you do what you gotta do, and you leave. Like, I feel like I am constantly working. I'm working on 4 different businesses right now. Like, you know, I am constantly thinking. I'm constantly, like, on my phone. I'm constantly, like, it's never stop, ever in the day. But, like, when you have a 9-to-5 job, which, again, nothing is wrong with that. Sometimes when it's overwhelming for me, I'm like, God, why didn't I have a 9-to-5 job? But it's rewarding. It's rewarding either way. But, yeah, you need to love it. But it's putting, like, I feel like Savannah and I, this was the point, we aren't the girls to go just do the 9-to-5 and come home and then, like, I think we always are trying to do more.
Definitely. And I think that stems from your mom and my dad. Your mom has been an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. I always saw him build a business. He never worked a 9-to-5. So my mom, on the other hand, she was a elementary school teacher for 20 years.
Which sounds like the hardest job ever.
I know. I mean, that, and I feel like middle school and high school, like,
that's
kids,
teachers.
I mean, you know how you were, like, in high school, like, the last thing you really
and then multiple in a classroom. Like,
ooh, that's tough. But yeah, my mom loved her job though. But so I had one parent who did have a 9-to-5, really like a 8 a.m. to, like, you know, 5 p.m. or whatever. But then I had my dad, who was always an entrepreneur and always building a business for himself. So I got to see 2 different ways to go about it, and the way that I resonated the most was the entrepreneur aspect of how you can go about a career.
I see that in you so much. And I mean, I feel like her dad and my mom, I always remember them working the most.
Yeah.
Like, always remember them, like, being, like, not that they didn't have time to do other things, but I always remember, like, even if they did other things, they are constantly working.
Right.
Like, I have that memory.
And,
and my mom still does that. So, something that I wrote in my notes is wanting to be an entrepreneur. That was my first little note. If you're listening and you have thought about it, or you think it's, like, too much of a risk to take, or whatever the case may be, you can do it. If I can do it, Savannah can do it, you can do it. So being an entrepreneur, the thing that I think that you need to have in you is just drive. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of disappointment, a lot of no's, a lot of mistakes being made. So if you can take that pressure, I think that you could do it. So
definitely. That was
my first note.
I love that. I think you said it best, pressure, because yes, I consider myself an entrepreneur, but I still have a mentor. So for me, my mentor, it's not necessarily my boss, but it's someone who is mentoring me,
you look up to,
and guiding me, and in that it's kind of similar to a boss telling you what you need to do. For me, I personally work very well with someone telling me what to do, and that's why I feel like I thrived in the different jobs that I did, because I had, like, a manager, I had a boss, and they would tell me what to do. So once I kind of got out of that and started to do my own thing, I had to be that person for myself. And that's why I'm very thankful that I do have a mentor, because it's kind of like they took that place of a boss, and I still have guidance and guidelines to follow. But at the end of the day, that person can only do so much. So it's really up to you. So when you take on that role of being an entrepreneur, you become your everything. Everything is dependent on you. And I think that that's kind of where that pressure comes, and a lot of those different doubts and just lack of faith, and can I do this? Can I not do this? All of those things come into play.
And you can do it.
And the thing is, you can do it, and there's multiple people doing it. And what kind of touched on this in the relationships episode, about how even women now, we have just so much more opportunity. In general, I feel like the majority of people listening to this are women, so that's why I'm just speaking on women. But yeah, there's just so much more opportunity, and there's so much out there, and there's so many entrepreneurs, and you just have to realize if they can do it, you can do it. The only difference between them and you is the time and the effort that they've put in to actually build something.
Yeah. It takes a lot of that. But what do you got for us, Savannah?
Okay.
This morning she looked at me and she goes, I have some questions for you. And I said, uh-oh.
I do. I don't know if I want to answer or ask them now, which maybe I should because we're talking about entrepreneurship, and at the end of the day, you have built a amazing brand for yourself.
Thank you.
You
That makes me shy.
No, for real. I think it's such a huge accomplishment to have an idea and have it come to life and actually be able to keep up with it and create success. I think that is a what's the word I'm looking for? Flex. That's a flex. Okay, so we have literally a business owner right here. So I'm going to go ahead and ask 2 questions for her. One of the questions is from you guys that I saw you guys write pertaining to her and her career. So I'm going to ask for you.
I wonder if I've seen it. See what it is.
So the first question, this one isn't that question I was speaking about, but if you can tell someone who is thinking about starting a business, what are a few steps that you can give them to get things going?
Okay, so sounds simple, but it's not. So the first, not in any order, but I think the top few things you need to know is coming up with a name. If you don't have a name and a logo, it sounds crazy, but that's what you need to make a step, okay? Because when you have a name and logo, you can claim your domain, which a domain is very important because you kind of lock in your business name. And then the next thing is the finance part of it. So I started my business with $500. So you need to sit and kind of...
Sorry.
What?
I'm like, I have a question.
Oh, you do? I didn't see
I'm sorry. But it pertains to the first...
She was raising her hand.
I didn't want to interrupt, but it has to do with the first question.
Okay.
Really quick. Because I know people are out there probably wondering this, and I've been in this position, but I just want to hear your answer. So, how important is the name? Are you able to change it? Is it like, this is the name that has to stick through it all, or how serious is
Good question. The name is very serious. You don't want to change it after you have settled all your tax forms and all the important things that go in a business. It's not just it's a bad look, 1, and 2, you come out with a business, people are going to remember that. And it's just like, oh, wait, so it's not Brave Meets Bold? Oh, so what is it? Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was, it's not a good marketing game, if you ask me personally.
Okay.
I don't think it works. I think that's why take your time on the name if you have to. Don't rush that, because yes, it's a forever thing. I remember for Shopwani, it took me like 2 months, and then it was a light bulb when my little cousin, we were writing a bunch of things down, and it was, as soon as she wrote Shopwani, it was literally a light bulb. Like,
it was your cousin?
It was Melody.
Stop.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I knew I wanted...
Melody.
I know.
Wow.
I knew I wanted, like, my name somehow in it, but not really. Like, I don't want you to just look at Shopwani and be like, oh, that's
Still,
yeah. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Fun fact. I did not know that. Okay. Cool. So, but, okay, and then I have a part 2 of that question. Are you able to change the name if you really wanted to?
Yes, but you would start over. So you would do the paperwork again. You would have to
so
do your
you can't
email
change,
again.
Let's say you got an LLC. You can't change the name of the LLC under the same
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you cannot. You would have to have another one.
Okay.
And you would just have to cancel that
everything.
One. Yeah.
Okay, so make sure your name, put some time and effort.
Put some time into that.
But not too much, because you want to get your product or your business out there
going.
as well.
And then having a business plan. Okay. Having a strategy and having a business plan is very, very important. Going in it with structure and kind of knowing these are my goals and I have this period of time to accomplish these goals. The first 2 years could be very, very disappointing in a business owner, because the first 2 years it's a lot of struggles because you're not making that much money and you're not seeing the improvement you want to see. You see a little bit here, you see a little bit there. Wait it out 2 years, give it your all for 2 years, and if it's not working, maybe go back to the drawing board and maybe like, what part can I switch out, or what. Don't just give up on it, because a good business really takes a lot of change. I mean, Shawani has changed so much. It's still changing a lot, and I've had it, for 4 years. So, I mean, even for me now, I feel like now in the last year, I've seen so much improvement. But there were so many times where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm tired of trying and then nothing's happening. So don't give up, and just have goals and make sure you have a business plan and stay organized, stay on top of it. Don't just do whatever when it comes to your mind, because it's not going to work like that.
Okay, cool. So
those are my advice.
Have a name and have a business plan.
Have a name and have a business plan, yep. And make sure you file all the paperwork. I don't want you to come and say I'm in trouble.
Yeah, right. Laura told me that, and I do it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do all of that.
Okay, thank you for that, and I hope that helps somebody out there who is wondering, what are some steps that I can take to make this business come to life. Okay, my second question from somebody in the comments. You talked about this on the first episode. You talked a little bit about how you went to school and then you ended up having or creating your own business. How did that switch happen in your career? What made that switch? What was it? Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I went to school for biology, and I was so determined that I'm going to do something in the medical field. Okay, I felt, I'm not gonna lie, my family's listening to this. I love you guys, Mom, I love you, but I did feel a little bit of pressure on that end.
Okay.
My older cousins are doctors, and I have a lot of family members, and, aunts and uncles and all that stuff. So I felt the pressure, and I'm not gonna lie, biology was always my favorite subject, the anatomy and all the good things about the human body, but I was never excited about it. And I went to school, and that's what I got my degree in. And now that I look back, I wish I had a business degree. I think it would have helped me so much more.
Okay.
But so after not to get too deep again, I don't want to make this episode fun, but I did have cancer in 2019, and I realized that things like that kind of makes you realize life is so short. Obviously, you go through something like that, but that's really the time I was like, okay, I'm not let me take a risk at this. If worst case it doesn't work, I have a degree, or we live in this world where you don't really need a degree either. There's so much that I could do. So after I graduated, got my degree, went through all that. I worked, like I said, I had multiple, different jobs. I tried out different things, and I always just wanted to have a boutique. And, I grew up in my mom's boutique. My mom had a boutique, and I would, always hang out in the fitting room, and I would just be there. And she was an entrepreneur, so I would be around it all the time. And I've always loved fashion. I've always loved all these things. And I just felt like, what if I do this? It was always a dream. I grew up in that. So yeah, basically, when I got a second chance at, life, I decided to start Shop Bonnie, and I started $500, and I really did it on my own. Yes, I had my mom's help and advice and all that stuff, but I really proudly will say that I started Shop Bonnie from the ground up. So that's how I got into it.
That's beautiful, friend.
Thanks. You know that story though, right?
No, yes, I definitely know that story. And I'm just so honored to be doing this podcast with you, honestly.
This
you're
is
just such
crazy
a boss babe.
This is our business. How crazy that you have a business with your bestie.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can say that.
Definitely not. So it's definitely a blessing, but you're a blessing. And
you're a blessing.
Thank you. I love you. I love you. But yeah, you guys, that is why she switched her career, and I think that that's crazy that when you have these second chances at life, or just these epiphanies, or just these feelings deep down, like I did. I didn't necessarily have a situation like that, but
But you went to school for hair.
Yeah, I went to cosmetology school, and I went to go work in a salon. Well, first I went to go rent out my own room with no clientele.
I remember
It was
that.
very brave and bold. But then I just realized I don't have anybody to learn from. I don't have anybody to go to for questions. There was a lot of reasons why I decided to go from having my own studio to going and working underneath somebody. But after doing that, I had this deep feeling inside of me that that career wasn't what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. So for me, it was a gut feeling that I just knew I had to do something about it, or I was going to feel this way forever. And life's too short. Life is too short. Okay, beautiful. You go ahead and.
We kind of already talked about this, but getting into the career you didn't go to school for, that's okay. You know what the problem is? Let me say this. I think that we go to school, we're young, we're fresh out of high school, and you don't necessarily know yourself 100%. So having like a career, knowing at 18, 19 what your forever career is, that's hard. Not everyone can do that.
I agree with you 1,000,000%. Like, I agree with you so much that I agree with you so much, but I agree because I didn't go to college. I was going to go to college, and by the time I was supposed to sign up in all my classes, they were all full.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't even know if I wanted to go.
I think I know this actually.
So for me though, I was gonna go to school for business. But I always thought about that. I was like, how are we supposed to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives? Like, this short period of time is supposed to determine the rest of my life. I couldn't wrap my head around that, and that is going to lead me to the next point, but I want you to continue on with your thoughts.
Yeah, so that was, and then this kind of goes with that. What are our thoughts about not going to college? Like, if somebody right now is listening and they're 18, 19, or they're in college, or they're in high school, what do we think as adults past our mid-20s, done a bunch of jobs, done a bunch of different things? What is our thoughts about college not being a option, if that's what they're thinking about?
Well, I don't know if I'm being biased because I didn't go to college, but what I will say is that when I have children, I will save up money for them to go to college if that's what they decide to do, but there's no way I can tell my child to do something that I didn't do. So that's number one. Number two, I'll save that money up for them to go to college if that's what they want to do, but if they don't want to do that and they have a business idea or want to even go to a trade school like I did, I'll have money to support them for that as well. So that's kind of what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I think I would support if they wanted to go, and I would support if they didn't want to go, but if they didn't want to go, I would need to know like what their plan is, because I want them to be set up for success. And I would be in a very good way, very hard on them if they don't want to go to college, because like I need to make sure they know, like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to do whatever you need to do that doesn't need school, I need to know that when I'm not here, or like when my husband's not here one day, like they're going to be set. Like, you can't go to college, not go to college and sit at home and me pay your rent. You know what I mean? Or me feed you. Like, I'm always going to be pushing my kids. They're not going to like me when I do that, but I'm going to be always pushing them, because in the long term, they're going to know why their mom and dad was hard on them.
Yeah. Okay, so I know I took it to like our children in the future, but maybe there is somebody out there who's listening who is younger and
in this debate.
Yeah. What would we tell them?
I think I would say, think about what you've done in the last whatever years of your life that you loved the most. If that's, you went and you read a book and you like to write, or if you worked at a job and that job you liked the most, and then dig deeper in how can you make that a career? Can you make that a career with school, without school? If, for example, I said books and I'm thinking writer. If you want to be a writer, do you need to go to school? I don't even know. But if you want to make it a successful career, that's something you might have to dig in deeper and see. So I would really just kind of sit and see what you've done so far that really brought you happiness and how you can expand that, make it a career.
Yeah, that's good, because you definitely need to think about it. And the thing about it is that's what's happening a lot in this generation. People are turning their passion into careers, and I think
we love it.
That's such a beautiful thing, because that's something that our grandparents, even our parents' generation couldn't really do. I feel like we're at the very tip of that iceberg.
Yeah.
Our generation, that we're able to turn our passion into careers. And yeah.
Cool. Give me your next.
Okay, so I feel like, yes, we are talking a lot about entrepreneurship, but there's also people out there who are living the happiest life
in their career.
That
was actually my next thing.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're on the same page. And I have in my notes, if you're happy with your job and it allows you to live the life you want, then don't be ashamed about it. And I put don't be ashamed about it because you might have people around you who are, selling things that they've created, or going off to do a podcast, or doing something that's a little bit more out of the ordinary, and it might, I don't know if it does or not, but it might make you feel like, oh, well, I'm all I do is work at X, Y, and Z. So what? If that's what makes you happy, and that's what puts food on the table, helps you pay bills, helps you go travel the world, helps you, do the things that you need to do to be afloat, good job. Good job.
We're rooting for you.
We're rooting for everybody.
That kind of goes with what I have, is how to be successful at whatever you do.
Yes.
How to be successful at whatever you do. I would say, if you work hard and you're happy at what you do, you'll be successful.
I think so too. If you put in the work, and you see progress, in return, I would feel you would be proud and happy.
For sure.
For
sure, yeah.
So I think no matter what it is that you're doing, whether it's the 9 to 5 or the entrepreneur or whatever it is you're doing, as long as you are hitting goals and going places in that career, that's success to me.
Hitting goals is such an accomplishment of whatever it is, if it's your job or whatever. That's just on its own. You accomplish so much hitting a goal that you've had.
That is the difference between somebody not making something happen and somebody making something happen. That's it. Them having goals. You had a goal when you opened up Shop Vani. You had the first goal, you ticked it off. You had the second goal, you checked it off. You had the third goal, and that got you from point A to point C.
Even with Brave Meets Bold, you guys.
We've had to
2 years almost. This has been
literally, and we had a checklist of things that we needed to do, which in my head are kind of like little mini goals. So we got to check off each single goal to get to being able to sit right here. So
a big goal, a mini goal, as long as you're accomplishing something and you have something that you're working towards, you're in the right track.
Yeah, and if you have somewhere you're working towards, is success as well, because you know what you're doing and you know what you need to do to get there, and you're actually working towards moving to the end goal or whatever.
And this kind of has something to do with it, but kind of has something to do with your partner. You are not responsible for your partner reaching their career goals. Because when you start doing that, and this is going to be really quick, so easy, when you start doing that, you get lost in your career. And you're not doing the best in your career because you're trying to do better for somebody else. Always make sure that if you're driven, like for me personally, like I know that I have to be with someone that's doing their own job and they're succeeding at it, because that for me is very important. This kind of has some, it goes off topic, but it doesn't. But I just want to make sure whoever's listening, you're like, oh man, like I did this and for, my man, and I got him here. Now I'm like not doing as good as he is. He needs to worry about himself, and you need to worry about yourself, and you need to bring a life together.
I like what Delora said about not being responsible, because there's a difference between being responsible and being supportive.
Yes.
She didn't say don't be supportive. She said don't feel responsible. There's a big difference. So don't get that twisted, you guys. Support your man, support your partner, but it ain't up to you for them to get where they want to go. That's up to them. And that's how they will genuinely feel fulfilled, and how they will genuinely have a passion for what it is that they're doing, because it took blood, sweat, and tears to get there, and it wasn't given to them.
Exactly. Well, that was a fun career topic.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't super dreadful, which I feel like, I don't know, sometimes when young adults, I still consider myself a young adult who's still trying to figure life out every single day.
Same.
It could be a dreadful topic, but it doesn't need to be. And I just feel like every single episode, we just want you guys to know that you're literally not alone. Like, we are both reaching our 30s, and we still...
Oh my God!
I know. We still are figuring things out each and every single day, and still need our parents' support and help and guidance. Like,
yes.
It's just, yeah. But that's why it's good, too, to have a good support group, and good
you need to
people
find yourself
around
a Savannah.
and find yourself a Daddy June.
Yes, I love you so much. June means my love in Farsi.
Yeah, this is my Daddy June.
But what else? Do you have any other last
I think I
words?
touched base on everything
I
for
did too.
my notes. So I think that was it. That was good.
Guys, thank you so much again for watching
Yes.
and liking and commenting and subscribing. We love and appreciate every single one of you guys. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in episode 5.
Oh my
I was
God,
gonna say 6, but no,
halfway, you
5.
guys. Halfway. I'm so
We'll see you
sad.
guys in episode 5.
We'll see you in episode 5. We love you.
Have a
a
great
wonderful
weekend.
day. Bye.